Alright, welcome to the second and final part of the axe throwing cage build. In this video we're going to complete making the full end grain target. This is just 1/4 of the target. I've got 3 of them made. I'm going to make 1 more. I'm going to take a router and carve the target and the tic-tac-toes into the target itself, and then we're going to use some creative hardware to make the targets reversible. I'm also going to take the target to a friend's wood shop and get these flattened on an 8-foot CNC machine, so that will kind of be exciting. And then we'll finish up the hardware on the cage and some LED lightings and throw some axes. Stay tuned. And remember, if Alex can, so can you. Let's go! For those that had not watched part 1 of the axe cage build, just a small recap. What I'm doing here is gluing together 4x4 end grain pressure treated blocks, and I inserted a metal aluminum spline right in the middle of each glue up to give the axe target some structural strength, since there's going to be nothing backing it. Hopefully this should do the trick. So, ran into my first problem. I don't have a working surface, nor do I have clamps long enough to glue these 2 sides of the target together. So, all the problem is there's a solution waiting to happen. So, I'm on the side of my house, and this is actually found a perfect size to jam these 2 pieces up against the wall and the wall of my house. And then I'm going to take some scrap wood and create like a little wedge system, a little triangular wedge system, and then use the clamp to then push those 2 wedges together, to then push the 2 pieces together for glue up. Should work. Let's give it a shot. Got our 2 wedges cut out. And these guys are gonna slide together with pressure from the clamp this way, but I don't want I want this to glide as smooth as possible. So I'm gonna put some paste wax on these slide rails here, so there's no friction when these guys are going together. I was fortunate enough to have a friend that has a woodworking shop with an 8-foot CNC machine, so I finished up the boards, brought them over there, and we got them flattened on all sides. I'll leave a link in the description for his furniture shop. in order to get the circles for the target, I tied some fishing line to a black marker and then nailed it to the exact center of the board, and then ran it around in circles and then extending the length of the fishing line to the regulation length of the circles on the target. So I wanted to save some money on paint, and I had a can of black spray paint, but I wanted to put that paint in a container to use a brush to brush it on, not spray paint. So I took the spray can and sprayed it into the bottom of a red solo cup. Not so smart of an idea because it quickly eroded the entire plastic, and then the black paint went all over the target. So don't put spray paint in a red solo cup. So here's the harebrained idea I came up with to get this thing to pivot around and be a reversible target. So bullseye on one side, tic-tac-toe on the other. Two separate halves are going to pivot. On the top, I got a brass 1-inch bar. I'm going to mount this on the top supporting 2x4, and this is just going to slot in to the top 1-inch hole on the top of the target. For the bottom side, which is going to be supporting all the weight, these weigh about 100 pounds a piece. I've got a longer aluminum rod that's going to go in a similar hole that's dead center in the board. And at the bottom and top of this rod, I'm going to have some thrust bearings, some greased thrust bearings. They're going to kind of support all the weight of the axe target as we want to pivot it. So there'll be like a locking mechanism. We'd pivot both sides around on each other, and they're going to be supported by aluminum and brass and some thrust bearings. I think it's going to work. And one more thing, if you're going to do this project, these two halves need to be absolutely symmetrical. So the same exact height and width and depth, really, down to the millimeter, or else when you unlock them and pivot them around, they might not meet up like two books, like on a bookshelf. So keep that in mind. So these guys need to be perfectly symmetrical in size, top, bottom, left, right, and even width too. So I needed to make sure that this hole in the top and the bottom of each half of the target was perfectly perpendicular to the target, or else it would lean the wrong way and wouldn't pivot correctly. And there's a trick where you can actually put a washer on your drill bit shaft and try to keep that washer centered on the shaft as you're drilling it, which would kind of indicate you're actually tunneling through that wood, and you're actually going straight down a perpendicular line. You may have seen some hinges along the entire back wall already on the build, and that's because not only will the axe target rotate, but it's hinged in the center of the back wall and on the corners, so the entire cage can actually collapse on itself. Instead of taking up 6 feet of space, it'll only take up about a foot of space. On top of the metal mesh, I also found some rubber floor mats you might find at like 24-hour fitness. I found those on OfferUp. I got about 24 feet by 4 feet for maybe $180. It's about, I don't know, 5/8 to a ½ inch thick, and then I put it on the back wall. Today's the day. Last piece going in, the black mat. We're not gonna let a little rain stop us, so after that, we should be good to start throwing some axes and daggers at this target. So how the cage collapses on itself, those two roof tiles on the top just kind of fold open like a door, and then they rest on the side on hinges. And then I push the center back wall in, and it kind of folds in on itself and takes up about, I don't know, 12 or 16 inches of space on the end and a little less on the other, so much better than 6 feet. I appreciate everybody watching. Subscribe if you'd like to for more videos like this. Take care.